Hello everybody, welcome back to Tom Tries. I'm your host Tom, and today we are going to be dabbling into Arkham Horror, the card game. We are on the base set right now, the very original, and we're going to work through the Night of the Zealot campaign, starting with Scenario 1, The Gathering. We're doing this single player, and we are going to be playing Roland Banks. Roland had always taken comfort in procedure and rules. As an agent in the Bureau, he was relieved to have guidelines to follow in any given situation. But lately, his Federal Agent's Handbook has been entirely unhelpful given the cases he'd been assigned. Try as he might, Roland could find no mention of what to do when confronted with strange creatures, gates through time and space, or magic spells. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have never believed it. There's no way his superiors would understand. Roland knew he would have to handle this one himself. So, we're just using the starter deck for Roland in here. And of course, yeah, we're doing the Night of the Zealots, Ghoul's Hunger, Friday, September 18th, 1925, Arkham, Massachusetts. It's the end of a long and abnormally hot summer. First hints of autumn beckons, but a heavy heat persists, relentless. A silent, unspoken anger grips the town. Tempers are short, and in the last week alone, there have been numerous reports of townspeople coming to heated, violent blows with one another over simple misunderstandings. And now a call from James Hankerson. He claims to have found a dismembered body in his barn. Blaming the weather would be too easy. There's something wrong with this town. Not a whole lot a soothsayer can do to stop the slide. My auguries indicate a small group of investigators will soon take note of these strange happenings and set forth to make things right. I'll be watching their progress. I won't be holding my breath. All right. So that's kind of the overarching on the Ghoul's Hunger. And then, yeah, part 1, The Gathering. You and your partners have been investigating strange events taking place in your home city of Arkham, Massachusetts over the past few weeks. Several townspeople have mysteriously gone missing. Recently, their corpses turned up in the woods, savage and half-eaten. The police and newspapers have stated that wild animals are responsible, but you believe there's something else going on. You're gathered together at the lead investigator's home to discuss these bizarre events. So I think we can keep that off to the side for now. Let's read the agenda. What's going on? It's late at night. You are holed up in your study researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in the region. A few hours into your research, you hear the sound of strange chanting coming from your parlor down the hall. At the same time, you hear dirt churning, as if something were digging beneath the floor. However, as you leap to investigate, the door to your study suddenly vanishes before your eyes, leaving behind only solid wall. You're trapped inside your study until you can find another way out. So it's going to cost 2 per player to get out. Obviously we have 1 player, so we'll only need 2 to be able to do so. And the doom is going to trigger on a 3. And our starting location is the study. Been investigating the strange events occurring in Arkham for several days now. Your desk is covered in newspaper articles, police reports, and witness accounts. So let's discover the study. The door to your study has vanished. And this gets 2 clues per investigator. Obviously, we just have our 1 shroud value of 2. And we need to draw up our starting hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 cards. Now, we skip the mythos step on the very first turn. So we are on the investigation phase. So we got mind over matter. Fast play only during your turn. Until the end of the round, you may use lore in place of strength and agility. Research librarian at a cost of 2. After research librarian enters play, search your deck for a tome asset, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Might not be a terrible one to get out right away. The knife on a fight, you get +1 for this attack. Discard fight, you get +2 for this attack. The attack deals 1 damage. Wouldn't be bad to get this out. Emergency cash, gain 3 resources. And manual dexterity, max 1 committed per skill text. If successful, draw a card. So our actions that we have, so once again, we get 3 actions on our turn. We can draw 1 card or gain a resource. We can play an event or asset card from our hand. Fast cards don't cost an action. We can activate a arrow ability, move to a connecting location, investigate your location, which we need to do to grab those. It'd be nice to get some cards out first if we can help it. So I think for our first action, we are going to spend a resource and get the knife out. And then I think for our second action, we're gonna spend 2 to get the research librarian into play. We get to search our deck for a tome asset. Let's see. Well, we do have a couple. Exhaust old book of lore. Choose an investigator at your location. Top 3. Ooh, that's not bad. Choose an investigator at your location and test lore. If you succeed, heal 1 damage from that investigator. And if you fail, deal 1 damage. Yeah, I think we'll grab the medical text. Yeah, our lore's at a 3, so it's not terrible. So we will shuffle our deck. There have been problems at the Owen Library, as we both know. Poor given Armitage condition and the other unrelated incidents of a few years ago. Alright, so we have an ally, we have one-handed weapon. That's the other thing we gotta keep track of. Or else, I know me well enough, I'll forget. And I think our last action is, I do believe we are just going to attempt to investigate our location. Do we have any lore that can help us out? Not in hand, so I can't boost that up. So we're at a 3 and we need a 2. Let's take a look here. -1, 2 is a tie, which is perfect for us. All right, we'll get that reshuffled. That is going to wrap up our turn. So we move on to the enemy phase. Enemies, there are none, so we can skip that. We go to the upkeep, reset our actions, ready all exhausted cards. Each investigator draws 1 card and gains a resource. We check our hand size. We need to make sure we're at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're well under. That is it for us. I know when I was done I should flip it over, but we're playing single player. All right, now we need to place 1 doom on the main scheme as we go into the mythos phase. So place 1 doom. It's not at 3, so we don't have to advance. And each investigator draws 1 card from the top of the encounter deck. What do we get? Frozen in Fear, Treachery. Put Frozen in Fear in play into your threat area. First time you perform one of the following actions, move, fight, or evade each round, it costs 1 additional action. Enforced at the end of your turn, test knowledge. If you succeed, discard Frozen in Fear. I'm gonna make sure I'm getting those names right. Oh, it's Willpower, Intellect, Combat, Agility, and Wild. I'm definitely gonna get that wrong. So many Arkham games. I'll call it something else. So if I get a couple of the names wrong on occasions, I do apologize. And I am gonna get rules wrong. It just happens. You can look at any comment section on any of my videos. It's gonna happen, but I'll try my best. So that is the end of the mythos phase. We go back to the investigation. Right now, we're not doing a move, fight, or evade. And I have no way of getting rid of it until the end of my turn anyway. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is, I think we're just going to investigate the area. Seems like a decent idea. So let us attempt to investigate. We're at a 3 once again. We need to beat a 2. -2, so we failed. That's a little rough. So for our second action, we are gonna retry. Oh, and what does that stand for? -2 if there's a ghoul enemy at your location, take 1 damage. So we fail on the second try. Let's see how we do on the third. Bit of a rough turn. -1 if you fail, take horror. Luckily, we don't fail. We actually tie that one. This will come over. That is all of our actions, but at the end of your turn, we can test. Yeah, we might as well. All right, so we're gonna be testing our willpower, which is a 3. It needs to beat a 3. Do I have anything? No, I could get rid of guts to help us out with 2. I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's get a little discard going here. We are now at a 5 versus a 3, because I really do want to get rid of this. A 0 modifier. This goes away, and if this test is successful, this go ahead and draw a card. So we will. Ooh, we got Roland's 38 special. That'll come in handy. So that wraps up our turn. There is no enemy for the enemy phase. Upkeep phase, reset actions. Ready all exhausted cards, we're good. Each investigator draws 1 card, gains 1 resource. Check to make sure we're not above 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we go to the Mythos, where we place 1 Doom on the agenda. We are definitely behind. And now we go ahead and draw an encounter. Grasping Hands, Revelation. We test Foot. Agility, and it is actually called Agility. Had a 3. We only start with a 2, so it'd be good if we can sacrifice a card to help us out. We do have manual dexterity here, so I'm gonna do that. That takes us to a 4. So this Grasping Hands, for each point you fail, you were taking 1 damage. Decaying hands rise up from below and grasp and claw at your ankles. 4 modified. Down to 2. Ghoul enemy at your location take a damage. There is not a ghoul, but we are taking 1 damage for the difference. Sadly, manual dexterity doesn't go off because we did go below the test. So let's see. Let's get this discarded over to here. Play comes to us. I think the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to turn in our 2 onto this. See what we got going on here. Luckily that doesn't cost us an action to do. So you notice that the edges of your newly purchased rug are tattered and mud-stained. Finding this odd, you shift the furniture aside and pull back the rug. To your surprise, you see the door leading out of your study. You slowly turn the knob and the door swings open, revealing your hallway below. You jump through the doorway, landing on your feet on the soft dirt. The door to the study slams shut above you. The smell of burning wood fills the narrow hall, intermingled with the scent of rot and decay. So we get the set aside hallway, attic, cellar, and parlor. The study is removed from the game. I'll just put it back underneath our scenario card. Place each investigator in the hallway. So there we go. We'll discover that here in a second. A moment of panic and disorientation strikes as you land upon the floor of the hallway. The world spins as if turned on its head. You discover this doesn't have any clues in it. The walls of your house are splattered with mud and your hardwood floor is gone, replaced with a dirt path. But according to our symbols, this will connect to each of these. Each of these connects on back. And the parlor does have a note. The entrance to the parlor is blocked by a darkly glowing, unfathomable barrier. Cannot move to the parlor. So, can't do that. We do need 3 to make it past the barrier. So, we're still at the start of our turn. We definitely need to move. We don't have anything preventing us from moving. Let's see. I think we're gonna spend 3 and get... So this will be our other 1 hand. I'm gonna double check, make sure. It is... Ooh, we can only have 1 hand oh, 2 hand slot. Okay. 1 ally, 1 body, 1 accessory, 2 hand slots, 2 arcane. So perfect. So we are gonna do this. This comes with 4 ammo. We can spend 1 ammo on a fight. You get +1 for this attack. There are 1 or more clues on your location. You get +3 damage instead. This attack deals +1 damage. Not bad. Not bad at all. That was our first action. I could, for a second action, get us some more supplies, but I think I'll just hold. and let us move. I think we're gonna move to the cellar. So, yep, move doesn't cost us anything to do. Well, it costs us our second action. Stairs leading down to your cellar are slick, and they glisten with a layer of ice. Let's check this out. Forced, after you enter the cellar, take 1 damage. We are at 2 of 9. And this has, after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. Limit once per round. And if we draw our Elder Sign, we get +1 for each clue on your location. And this is gonna spawn with 2 per player. So we do have to go to the other location to get all of them. But c'est la vie, what can you do? Alright, so we've taken our 1 damage. We have moved down here for our second action. I think our third is just going to be to explore, or to investigate, excuse me. So we have an investigation of 3 versus 4. Ooh, we need something to help us out. This is a rough room for us. Right now, I actually cannot beat this by itself. Oof. Well, oh, maybe I can't. Well, I could try and see if we get a success or something else, or move back to the hallway. Or, all right, here's what we'll do. We will spend this to get our three resources back. That's going to be our last action. So we're going to have to move back and try to get our lore up somehow. And by lore, of course, I mean intellect. I'll get these right eventually. So that will wrap up our turn. There are no enemies on the board. We go to the upkeep phase. We'll reset our actions. Ready all exhausted cards. Each investigator draws 1 card, gains a resource. Ooh, spend 1 resource. Oh, so we just got a hyper awareness. Spend 1 resource. You get +1 intellect for this skill test, and we can also do that for agility on this hyper awareness. That would actually be pretty nice. I think I know what we're going to be using here in a minute. So that should wrap up ours, because we are at 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. We go to the Doom. It is now at 3, which is enough to flip it. This is going to advance. Let's see what we got going on. The outhouse continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed and the ground in many rooms has turned to dirt, almost as if you've been transported somewhere else entirely. Although every now and again you recognize elements of your former home. Lead investigator, which is us, must decide. Choose one. Either each investigator discards 1 card at random from his or her hand, or the investigator takes 2 horror. We only have a max out of 5. So I think we are just going to sacrifice 1 at random. Lapse in time. Alright. Mind over matter. Until the end of the round, you may use your lore instead of your might or agility. Is it might? Combat. Alright. We'll get this eventually. Or we won't. We'll find out. And then Rise of the Ghouls. It's going to be 7 doom for this to take off. The floor beneath you is giving way, and you see a vast network of tunnels twisting into the darkness below. Shapes and silhouettes of strange creatures move swiftly through the tunnels, trying to find a way up. You probably don't want to be here when they do. So that will wrap that up. Now we do our encounter step. Ooh, ghoul minion. Humanoid monster ghoul. It was a colossal and nameless blasphemy with glaring red eyes, and it held in bony claws a thing that had been a man, gnawing at the head as a child nibbles at a stick of candy. From H.P. Lovecraft, Pickman's model. So that's going to come engaged with us. So a 2, he's got 2/2. So yeah, 2 fight, 2 health. To evade, cost a 2. So, should come over to our turn. This actually would help us out if we can defeat him here, because after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. So I think what we'll do is we are going to attack, and we will use Roland's 38 special, spend 1 ammo, but you get +1 for this attack. If there are 1 or more clues, which there are, you get +3 instead. So right now we are sitting at a fight of 7. If we are successful, this deals +1 damage. Right now we're at a 7 versus 2. Can we do it? It is -1, so we are at a 6. That succeeds, so we'll deal 1 damage, but the Roland's 38 special will deal 1 more damage, which is enough to take out the ghoul minion. Does not have a victory on it, so we'll just kind of put it to the discard. And with Roland's power, after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. Limit once per round. So we've got 1 going on. So that was our first action. We knocked them out. I don't want to grab this hyper awareness for the second, but we do need to get to the attic quick too. Yeah, all right. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna spend the 2 to get hyper awareness out. It is just a asset, no hands. We're just hyper aware. It'd be kind of weird if you put hyper awareness like in your hands somehow. I just feel like I'd be jittery. So that was 2, 3. We're just gonna move back to the hallway. That wraps up our turn. Enemy phase, there are none. Upkeep, we reset. We draw a resource and a card. We got 45 automatic, but we're already holding on to 2 hands right now. And the hyper awareness that apparently I put into our hands for a terrible joke. That should, yeah, we're well below at 3 cards in hand. We go back up to the Mythos phase. Let's get 1 Doom. It does not put it over, as that is a 7. We draw our encounter. We get a swarm of rats. Ugh. We get, oh, it's a hunter. It's a 1/1/3 creature. A horde of cruel rats skitters forth in an undulating wave of claws, teeth, and mottled fur. I can read. Oh, now I actually wish I would have stayed in the cellar, because if we could have defeated the rat without issue, we could have just gone and got that last clue. But c'est la vie. Not much we can do on that. So our first action is going to be to fight. We're at a 4 versus 1, so I'm not going to use I think we'll exhaust knife, make it a 5 versus 1. We should be able to kill it. Ooh, skull. X is the number of ghoul enemies in your location. It is a creature, not a ghoul. So the good news is we do deal damage to it. So it's minus, because it was -0 as we didn't have a ghoul. We do defeat the swarm of rats for our first action. For second, you're going to move up to the attic. Forced, after you enter the attic, take 1 horror. Now I'm definitely very glad we didn't take the 2 horror earlier. What does it say? The smell of rotten meat assaults your nostrils as you approach the attic stairs. And yep, so we took the 1 horror. The bloody carcasses of malformed beasts swings from a meat hook chained to the ceiling. Blood drains slowly from the carcass, dripping into a small barrel. And this gets 2 put onto it. It has a shroud value of 1, so we actually kind of feel pretty good trying to go into this one. We have a value of 3. If we spend 1 resource with a hyper awareness, it does not cost an action to activate. So we're going to use that, put us at a 4. We just have to beat a 1. I'm going to help us out. It is -1. So that puts us down to a 3, but enough to pass. And give us this. All we need is 1 more and we're golden. So we fought, we moved, and we investigated the location. So we'll go ahead and flip that back over. There are no enemies to attack, so we go back to the upkeep. And we ready ourselves back up. We ready up our exhausted cards. We draw a card and gain a new resource. Not bad for us. We check hand size. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Golden. Now we go to Mythos phase. That is now 2 of 7, so we're still doing okay. we now go to the encounter. What do we get? Oh, a flesh eater. Spawns in the attic, which we're at. Humanoid monster ghoul. Monstrous creature feeds from the rotting carcass in the attic. And wow, 4 health. This is gonna be a little rough. So let's see what we can do here. So play comes to us, and I think we're just gonna straight up attack. There is clue here, so I feel like Roland's 38 special is gonna be better for us because this puts us at a 7 attack. And it'll do an extra damage if we're successful. So we're at 7 versus 4. He is a ghoul creature, so that puts us down to a 6. So still successful. So we will deal 2 damage to the flesh eater out of the 4. That was our first action. Our second action is we are going to discard the knife to fight. You get +2 for this attack, and this attack deals +1 damage. So we are now at 6 versus the 4. Let's see how we do. All right, so we're down at 5 versus the 4, which is still enough to take it out. Sadly, it cost us the knife in the process. I will keep this over in a little victory pile. In my luck, you just do that out of the discard, but just keep it over there. That way we don't forget. And on defeating it, because of after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location, and that's enough to actually turn these in. Let's go ahead and do that, shall we? So, a glowing barrier blocks the path to your parlor. As you move towards it, intense heat forces you to back away. Picking up a handful of dirt, you toss it at the barrier and watch in horror as the dirt incinerates. Perhaps there's something in the cellar or attic that can help. When the round ends, investigators in the hallway may, as a hey, it helps if you read. So, we'll put those back. For our last action, we'll move to the hallway. Now, at the end of the round, do this. Let's see. So when the round ends, so we're not quite there yet, because we need to do the enemy phase, which there are none. Upkeep phase. Flip everything back. Gain a resource. Draw a card. Now we're at the end of that, so let's go ahead. Using the barrel from the attic, you carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. Barrier sparks and shudders as it consumes the ice, then hisses and fades out of the existence. Barrier blocking passage into the parlor has vanished. Reveal the parlor. Oh goodness. That's a pretty picture. Put the set aside Lita Chambers into play in the parlor. Spawn the set aside Ghoul Priest in the hallway. He's got Prey for the highest might. Hunter with Retaliate. So, Lita Chandler is here. What's she got going on? When you control Lita Chandler, she gains... Each investigator at your location gets +1 fist. An investigator at your location successfully attacks a monster. The investigator deals +1 damage. Ooh. He takes 5 per player to knock out. So he's a little beefy. All right. Let's see what we have going on. What have you done? A woman with a torch stands in your parlor, a glimmer of hatred in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams furious. Before you can answer, a ghastly wail sounds behind you. A creature wearing robes and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing towards you. If the Ghoul Priest is defeated, advance. Now, we do have an option down here. There is the resign action. This is too much for me. You run out the front door, fleeing in panic. While Lita Chandler is not controlled by a player, she gains Parlay. So you test your lore. You succeed, you take control of Lita. Okay. That would cost us a research librarian who's, let's be honest, isn't the greatest for us. She does eat a damage, which is nice. But That's all resolved. We now go to the top of the round. Mythos phase, place 1 Doom. 3 of 7. Advance. So that doesn't go off. Each investigator draws 1 card from the Mythos. Swarm of Rats. Of course it is. 1/1/1. So, yay. I do believe it spawns on top of us. I don't see why it wouldn't. Minus it did say like spawn attic or prey, so it may move. And I am gonna have to look up what Retaliate does here in a second on that Ghoul Priest. What does read? Ghoul Priest, figure in red robes wearing a bone mask. It gibbers and snarls before leaping to attack. Sounds kind of fierce. All right, so it is it's our go. So let us attack the swarm of rats. So we have a 4. I don't think we'll use the 38 special. I kind of want to save that for the Ghoul Priest. Yeah, because let's see. Enemies with the hunter keyword move towards each nearest investigator. Each engaged enemy attacks if available. So let's try to attack the swarm of rats. Yep, all right. So we are using our attack action. We are at a 4 versus a 1. That is a 2 versus a 1, but still good enough to knock out the swarm of rats. I don't really want to hit the Ghoul Priest. Engage with it right now. So our second action is we are going to move to the parlor. And we do want to try to parlay with Lita Chandler if we can help it. Yeah, but that's a 4, which is rough. But we have hyper awareness. At least spend 1 resource, you get +1 for the skill set. Now I wonder, can you use this more than once? Like, could I dump all of my resources to do it? We do have a dodge still, which is nice. A medical text. So rules reference. Let us. Pre-triggered ability is on 3. Welcome to the good old rule sections. An act this normally done as a player ability. Pre-triggered abilities. Triggered ability may be triggered as a player ability during any player window. Okay. It doesn't say we can't use it more than once. Oh, and we may have been wrong on the exhausting. Triggered abilities on a card a player controls, optionally triggered by that player at the appropriate timing as indicated by the ability. Triggered ability can only be initiated if its effect has the potential to change the game state. Once an ability is initiated, players must resolve as much as possible. So it doesn't cost an exhaust. For this... This doesn't cost us an action to do. So, you know, as I'm not running into an actual rule on it, I think we're going to do this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hold my other 2. It's going to put us at a 6. We need to beat a 4. Perfect. So research librarian's going to go away because you can only have 1 ally slot. While you control Lita Chandler, she gains each investigator at your location gets +1. When an investigator at your location successfully attacks a monster enemy, the investigator deals +1 damage. Good for us. We have 1 action left. We could grab the first aid. Uses 3 supplies. If first aid has no supplies, discard it. I do want to hold on to one of those for when Ghoul Priest eventually attacks. He's gonna move towards us, but will he hop onto us? I forgot to take a look at Hunter and Retaliate. Time to check some keywords. This is why these indexes are really nice. Hunter, page 12. During the enemy phase, each ready unengaged enemy with 100 keywords move to a connecting location along the shortest path towards the nearest investigator. Enemies at a location with one or more investigators don't move. Don't care about the equidistance. Also, see Ray. All right. Ray 17. We got, given the opportunity, some enemies will pursue a defined investigator. These enemies are identified with the bold word prey in their text box, followed by instructions on whom they should engage. It would literally only be us. So that's all right. We also need to check retaliate. And also double check when he would engage us. Hunter enemies move. Okay. Resolve the hunter keyword for each ready unengaged enemy. Resolve the engaged enemy attacks player order. Each ready engaged enemy makes an attack. Here's the weird thing. It actually does not say when they engage with you. Huh. After investigator is resolved, enemy phase ends. It never says when they engage. Let's see. Is there a... Let's try 11, the engage action. I think that might be for us. To engage an enemy at the same location, for example, when do they jump onto you? Would he have jumped onto us when we... How does an enemy engage on? While an enemy card is in play, it is either engaged with an investigator or it is unengaged and at a location. Each enemy in an investigator's threat area is considered to be at the same location. That's fine. Anytime a ready unengaged enemy is at the same location as an investigator, it engages that investigator is in place. Oh, so we should have had him on top of us. And he would have been able to attack us before we moved here. So, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go way back in time. And get our research librarian back. Got the 3 under there. How many did we put on? Like 1, 2. Oh yeah, it was 3 here. So we're still here. We fought off the rat. And oh, he has retaliate as well. Could actually read that. Each time an investigator fails a skill test while attacking a ready enemy, the retaliate keyword, after applying all results for that skill test, enemy performs an attack. Ooh, and they don't exhaust. That's a little scary, rough. So, let us... Oh, no, we never used Roland's 38 special. So, we will actually go ahead and attack using Roland's 38 special. There's no clues here, I'm afraid, so we're only getting a +1. Ooh, that puts us at a 5, and we have to beat a 4. We're gonna need a good draw. Yeah, we do. Tie, 4-4. And we do 1 extra point of damage. Gonna be 2 onto him. That was our second action. Oh, I really want to evade, but our evade is awful. We've only got the 2 to try to get away. I do have a couple of cards. Not really much I want to do. You're engaged with an enemy, spend an action, do anything other than fight or parlay. It gets to deal an attack, which doesn't help us out any. Oof. Do we just attack again and use the last of the Roland 38 special? Do we move and let him hit us so we can at least sit up here so this is a better chance of hitting harder? That would put us at least to a 7. 1 away from killing him on the next turn. Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. At least when we take damage, we can maybe just kill off the research librarian. Because he swings for, yeah, 2 and 2 on each side. I'm gonna have to put down to the librarian to save us. Because we don't kill him this turn no matter what we do. So let us spend the last of the Roland 38 special. We are at a 5 versus 4. Let's see how we do. All right, perfect. Gonna be 2 more damage. That is our 3rd. Sadly, cannot take him out on this action. So we go to the enemy phase. Enemies are going to attack if able. And we are actually going to use our dodge for 1 resource. Play when an enemy attacks investigator at your location to go ahead and cancel that attack. Whew, feels good. Now we reset our actions. We gain a resource. We gain a card. Ooh, machete. You get +1 for this attack if the attacked enemy, the only enemy engaged with you, this attack deals +1 damage. Be good to get on, but you would get a attack of opportunity on us. But we may we may have to consider. Oof. All right, so we go to Mythos. That's now at 4 of 7. Draw the top card. Ravenous Ghoul is gonna jump onto us. He's got a 3/3. Lowest remaining health, obviously, he just comes onto us. The side of this thing raised the question, do we eat to live or do we live to eat? That's a good question. All right, so should be our phase. We have 3 actions. I think we are going to spend medical text, machete to get a +2. So we're going to be at 5. So we're going to be at 6 to attack the Ghoul Priest. Yeah. Hopefully this works. So we're at 6. 6 need to be to 4. That is a 4. That's enough. That is enough to take them out. If the Ghoul Priest is defeated, we do advance. All right, perfect. When the robed creature falls, the fiendish swarm burrows back into the ground and the chaos of the house quiets. The stranger in your parlor doesn't seem relieved. You broke my seal that was set to trap the ghouls within, she rages her torch. Now we must take more direct measures and burn this hell pit to the ground. Now we need to decide. It's never much of a home, burn it down. This hell pit's my home, no way we're burning it down. Kinda don't want to burn it down. Like, I mean, she's a zealot. Granted, she had a thing up to try to... Yeah, you know, I think hell pit's my home, no way we're burning it down. You know, let's be a little stupid about it. Alright, so we get resolution 2. You refuse to follow the overzealous woman's order and kick her out of your home for fear that she will set it ablaze without your permission. Fools, you're making a grave mistake, she warns. You do not understand the threat that lurks below, the grave danger we are all in. Still shaken by the night's events, you decide to hear the woman out. Perhaps she can shed some light on these bizarre events. She doesn't seem to trust you very much. In the campaign log, record that the house is still standing. The investigator earns 1 experience as he or she refuses to let the night's events destroy his or her life. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory value on each card on the victory display. Remember to add eligible locations to the victory display. You get 2 bonus experience as he or she gains insight into the hidden world of the mythos. Ooh, that's, oh, nice. So we have a +3. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 experience. What's showing? Because yeah, this just kind of went back. I don't know if it count for us or against us. So not bad. All right, so we will we'll look at upgrades, see how they work, and get those into our deck. But hey, that's gonna do it for another edition of Tom Tries. We'll be going into the next mission next week, right here on the channel. Hey, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more board game content. It does actually help us out a lot, so please consider subscribing. And until next time, TTFN, ta-ta for now.